Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Sherry Dunlap Gallagher, and I am a corporate engagement manager with United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania. I'm based out of our Butler office, and we're so pleased you could all join us today as we celebrate Women's History Month and recognize women leaders in Butler County and around our region. On behalf of my teammates for Women's Leadership Council, Lynn Popish, Leanne Munger, and Terry Dominic, we thank you for being here. And to get everything started, I'd like to welcome our Butler Region Director, Amy Franz.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. It wasn't that long ago that we were together in person. In fact, I think this might have been the last time many of us were together in person. And to quote the Grateful Dead, what a long, strange trip it's been. But let's think optimistically. We were going into quarantine when we met a year ago, and we're meeting now, and we see the signs of the quarantine getting a little more tolerable. I won't go so far as to say we're out of it completely, but we're getting there. I appreciate all of you joining us today to talk about Women's History Month, and those making history in Butler County. And a little overview about women's leadership and why this is so important. There really is no other women's organization in our community like Women's Leadership Council at United Way. Our philanthropic impact represents the best our region has to offer. And whether you're at the start of your career, a seasoned professional, or someone who wants to make a difference, the Women's Leadership Council is a great way for you to get involved. And you'll learn more about that as you hear our honored guests today and their contributions they've made, not only to the life in our community, but making an impact on Butler County and women's leadership in general. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Shannon Schreib, who not only serves as a local operating board member in Butler County, but she's also a member of the United Way of Southwest PA Board of Directors. Shannon?
Great. Thanks, Amy. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for double checking.
Hi. And Shannon, I think we may be welcoming Bobby here.
I am so sorry. Just turn it over to Amy and she messes it up right away. But thanks, Sherry. That was very polite to tell me I screwed up. So thank you. We are very fortunate to have our president and CEO, Bobby Watt-Gear, with us today. And Bobby, of course, is at the front of the line of women making history in the region. So delighted to have her as our Chief Executive Officer. And thanks for the flip up in the agenda. And Bobby, to you.
Thank you very much, Amy. And it's great to see everyone, even in our small boxes. And Shannon, we'll look forward to hearing from you soon. I am really delighted to be here and a part of the event this evening. I've attended prior events in person and look forward to gathering again, hopefully with everyone soon. I just wanted to make a couple of remarks, and I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker this afternoon. But this really has been an incredible time of women's leadership in our communities. So let's think about that. Let's reflect on it and let's celebrate it during our time together this evening in just about every aspects of our lives, right? You think of essential workers and healthcare workers and public officials and educators and corporate leaders and nonprofit leaders, of the incredible feats we have seen, not to mention the leadership that we all have demonstrated in our families as parents and grandparents, trying to help our kids get through this incredible time of disruption in their education. So I think that we'll be writing about this time for decades, but let's just all hold each other up and honor the incredible feats of women's leadership over this last year, because there have been so many examples of that. and thank you for all that you're doing. The second thing that I wanted to comment on is that Women's Leadership Council specifically is a key way that United Way is able to make an impact in our communities. Our Women's Leadership Council is among one of the largest in the United States, and we're clearly not the largest metropolitan area, but we have one of the largest women's leadership councils in the country. And it helps us carry out our mission of making sure that people have food, can pay their bills, can stay in their homes, can have access and get to their vaccinations for COVID. So you're helping us do incredible feats in the community as well. So thank you for your support of Women's Leadership Council. And then finally, and most importantly, I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker this afternoon, who is Herman, Vice President of Global Operational Excellence at MSA. Anne has a very long and distinguished career. I want to just hit a couple of highlights and then look forward to hearing from her. But in her role, she is responsible for driving performance and safety and quality at MSA. And she's built her career there over 36 years, starting as an assistant chemist back in the day. Anne is a native of Pittsburgh and has earned her bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from Bucknell and an MBA from Duquesne. She has been the executive sponsor of the Employee Resource Business Group for Women at MSA, and she has served on community boards such as the YWCA of Greater Pittsburgh. Anne has also received a number of awards recognizing her corporate and community leadership, notably the Pittsburgh Business Times as one of the 25 most influential businesswomen in Western Pennsylvania. And she was also recognized at this event as a Woman of Butler County honoree of the Women's Leadership Council of Butler County. So without further ado, we welcome Anne Herman, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Bobby. Hope everyone can hear me. Okay. And in my defense, I will say MSA is the only place I have ever worked in my in my 36 years. So it is great to be here, even if it is virtually. As Bobby said, I was very honored 2 years ago to be one of the honorees when we were back in the day when we got together in person. So I, like everyone, look forward to when we can do that again. I did want to give you a little context about MSA and the United Way. It's a longstanding partnership. I mean, MSA as an organization is committed to our communities and serving our communities well. It's so important to us. In fact, it's right in our mission statement, which says that men and women may work in safety and that they, their families, and their communities may live in health throughout the world. And our partnership with the United Way is a central part of that commitment. A big way that we honor that commitment with the United Way is that MSA matches every employee pledge and donation dollar for dollar, 100%, which means that we're able to double the impact that our employees have through the United Way. We kept that up in 2020 in the midst of a very challenging environment. We kept our 100% match pledge, donation pledge, and I'm very pleased to report that for 2021, we have pledged close to $300,000 from MSA employees and with the match. So we're very proud of that. We were the largest our corporate center was the largest contributor for United Way in Butler County. So we're very proud of that. And in our competitive spirit, we want to hold that top position. So we will continue to do that. So I'll give you just a little context about MSA background. So when you hear me talk about leadership, it helps give you some context. We are, as Bobby said, we are Pittsburgh based, we're Cranberry based now. We were started in 1914 with a mission focused on safety, exclusively on safety, and that's still our same mission today. We are the leading manufacturer of sophisticated safety products. So we make everything from breathing apparatus to first responders, gas detectors and fall protection, all of them that incorporate leading edge technology. And we design and manufacture all in-house. We first came to Butler County in 1985. I was one of the first group that moved into our building, what was then the Instrument Division in Cranberry Township, what became the Cranberry Woods Office Park. And we've been here ever since. And we relocated our corporate headquarters up to our Cranberry location in 2010. So we have a total of 850 associates on our Cranberry campus, our largest design center in the United States, corporate headquarters, and one of our largest manufacturing plants that does the gas detection products. So when Sherry asked me to reflect on what did leadership look like last year and what were the unique strengths, and I looked at the unique strengths of women's leadership, it was great. It was great to look back. It has been exactly a year since we sent all our office staff to working remotely. And so we've had a chance to take a step back and take a breath and think about what that was over the past year. Certainly, none of us had ever led through a pandemic before. And frankly, none of us are hoping to ever have to do it again. But we did learn a lot about how to do that and what was successful for that. For us as a manufacturing company and as the safety company, our top priority was always keeping our associates safe. And then right behind that was continuing to keep our customers safe, which meant for us being able to keep product going to those essential workers, of which we are one, but those first responders, pharmaceutical, transportation, utilities. So when I thought about how did we do that, there were 5 keys to success in my mind. Number one was we had to make decisions fast. And a lot of times with imperfect information and a lot of times without all the information that we would really like to have. So we made decisions quickly. And a lot of those decisions needed inputs from a lot of different groups and teams and functions. And so they ended up being group decisions. But what was really allowed us to be successful was the second key in my mind, when we leveraged the diversity of thought. And that's an area where I think women's leadership in particular really shone, because we're wired, right, to people who could actively solicit input, right, to listen to it and hear it and incorporate it, and people who could balance the voices that said, go, 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 with the voices that said, wait a second, do we have gas in the car? Do we know where we're going? Will we have everything we need when we get there? And that's really the power of leveraging the diversity of thought, because you come up with better decisions and better solutions. And I think we did that well. And I think, again, the women's leadership and being strong in those areas of seeking and listening and hearing were really key to that success. Also key to that success and leading in a different way was communication. Again, with a lot of information needed, we obviously had to get information from a lot of folks, but we also found that communication out to our associates about what was happening, if we didn't know what was happening, but would let them know what was happening with fellow associates, with our customers, with the business, were we open, were we not? Could we get, supplies? How did we keep engineering working and designing new products? Can they do that remotely? That was really important. And again, the communication, I think, is an area of strength for women, and especially in the area of getting information back from associates, of checking in with them, of seeing how they're doing, and being able to tell how they're doing, even when they don't tell you. We were able, because we are essential workers, we kept our manufacturing plants open. And we had leaders who spent a lot of time talking with associates, calming their fears because they were working during a pandemic. Before, we had all the protocols in place that we do now for safety around COVID. We had a lot of folks working remotely. And so leaders had to be more active and engaged and more conscious about asking, but looking for cues, because you can't walk through and see how they're doing. I do recall it was about May of last year. I was on one of these video meetings with one of our remote workers, and they said, I'm getting the hang of this. Today, I'm either going to take a shower or eat lunch. And I thought, maybe not as well as you thought. But I think that was an area where, again, women's strengths are being able to listen, look for those nonverbal cues, and really tell how people were doing and engage them and help them through that. So that was the third key for me. I talked about we had to make decisions and we had to make them quickly, and a lot of those were groups, but we also found that there were some decisions that didn't need to be a group. So let's empower associates to do that. And that was an area that we also made some changes. Folks said, you take care of it. You can decide that yourself, but let's do coaching and mentoring to make sure that you have the information, help you build confidence in that. And that was also important for us because it allowed us to make decisions in some areas with speed and agility. And it was good to help keep employees engaged, because while they were working remotely and could start to feel isolated, they were empowered, and they appreciated that. And the last area, and we alluded to this, that was really important for success was multitasking. You have to be able to multitask and to go from one activity to another. And again, I feel women are wired this way, and we're good at this. You have to go, everybody goes from one call to another these days. You have to be able to switch focus, new topic, new group, jump right into a conversation. But being able to multitask, people that are wired to do that have an advantage, and the leadership to do that and to bring other people along with you was really important and strong. Implied in that is your ability to prioritize. And that's somewhere too where people who are able to separate the urgent things that need to be done right now from the critical that need to be done but can have a longer time, and the ones that, you know what, they can go to the bottom of the list. In my personal life, I pick cleaning the house to go to the bottom of the list. Other people may prioritize, but it helped us really that folks, and again, people who can multitask, and I think that's a strength. So it did take, some things were very different last year. Some things were the same, but a lot of things changed. And some things have changed permanently. And so when I think about the future, we know we're getting into a new normal. We're not sure what the new normal is yet, but in my mind, there are 3 things that will be different, and they're good, and they're different in a good, positive way. The communications, again, because of the pandemic and the urgency for making business decisions and the need to communicate in different ways, we started some practices that we're continuing now and will become permanent. We started, our CEO sent an email every week, now it's bi-weekly, to all associates about what's going on in the business. They've loved that. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive. And so he continues to do that about, new products, whatever is, great orders we got, new developments. We started more town halls virtually, where we get all associates together, share some information, but allow time for them to ask questions. We're doing those more often, and those have become a regular event without the need to figure out how to get 850 people in a few rooms. Those are continuing. I did a series of those myself. We've also started sharing information more, because you couldn't just stop by and tell somebody. We're leveraging the technology to share files, to have conversations on threads, and that's something that will stay with us. People are getting more information now, and it's more readily accessible. You don't have to track somebody down. And so I think that's been a good permanent change also. The second change that I've seen, which will stay, and I really hope it stays, is we've become more inclusive in many events. Because we had to start doing things virtually, we found we were able to connect people more. All of our employee resource business groups reported last year that they had wider participation in all of their events, and they all had to go virtual also, whether it was professional development training, tools training, product information, networking. They had broader participation when associates could jump on a video call instead of going to a meeting, to the extent that while they're all Pittsburgh-based ERBGs, we now have people participating. We started chapters in other places in the US and in Europe. And so now when people were having events, instead of the question being, well, how do we include people from other parts? It's why don't we? So I think that's been great, that it's become more inclusive in who we invite and who we include in those events. And that's building stronger relationships, and everyone's building their networks much, much better than we would have been able to before. And then for me, the last, but certainly not the least, important change that I've seen over the past year is it has tremendously accelerated our use of workplace and acceptance of workplace flexibility. MSA has had a workplace flexibility policy for many years. We've always had associates participate in it, but last year the percentage of associates who participated went up exponentially when we asked all the office staff to work remotely. And while we don't know what the new normal is, we know it's not the old. We will not go back to where we were before. And the past year has really shown us that it can work. And we've gotten past, in some cases, there was a stigma about people working from home. Again, if you're picking whether to take a shower or eat lunch, you're working. You're not. Probably some cases, many cases, our employees are working too much. And so we do need to focus on work-life balance, and we're actively coaching and giving folks tools on that. But it has tremendously accelerated the acceptance of that. And we've shown to ourselves we can be effective, we can get things done. We know we are missing those interactions that you get, and some folks were talking about that as we joined the call here today. So that is important to us in our culture, and so we need to figure out how to get that balance. But we also know that we're very effective. In the fourth quarter of 2020, we got more products to our customers than at any quarter in the history, 107-year history of the company. So yeah, we figured out how to do it. So for me, but that's really important, I think, and especially for women, because we still primarily have most of the responsibility for family, childcare, home. Having that flexibility and having it more accepted and a little easier to use I think is a tremendous step forward, and will help us with engagement, retaining associates, and keeping our spot. And one of our goals is to be a top workplace in the region. So I'm very excited to see that too. So those were my thoughts, Amy, Sherry, Bobby. It's been a tremendous year, unlike anything other. As Bobby said, we've all had to do things differently, but I think a lot of the success that we saw at MSA Safety was because we did leverage the strengths of our women leaders and some of those unique skills and strengths that we have. And again, sharing those more widely throughout the organization. And we'll continue to move forward because we aren't going back to the old way. We all know that. It'll be a new and a better way going forward. Thank you. Thanks. And I hope to see everyone in person next year.
And thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do in MSA and in the community. You touched on so many things that I think many of us have felt this last year, and you were quite articulate about it. And I may find myself asking for your notes because you've really said a lot of things that are pertinent to how we all feel. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Happy to. Yeah. And if anyone reach out, that everyone has my contact information, Sherry, Bobby, Amy. So happy to have a conversation afterwards with anybody. I think we're all feeling it, and I think it's good. These are great forums. As you said, the Women's Leadership Council was so important to help advance, to help the community, but advance the leadership skills too. And being able to share those experiences and learn from each other really helps. Yeah.
Well, we are delighted to have you as a Women's Leadership Council member and an honoree in Butler, and MSA being a true partner in the community. I think that, to your point, we had many more communications with MSA this year than we had previously, and recognizing that partnership for both of us is truly grateful, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We do too. We love the partnership.
Wonderful. I had given you a preview to our next speaker, and that is Shannon Schreib. For those of you that joined late, Shannon is a board member for the local operating board in Butler, and she is also a member of the board for United Way Southwestern Pennsylvania. And she will be introducing our honorees during today's program. Shannon?
Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Anne, for the very insightful and thought-provoking keynote address. On behalf of the WLC Executive Committee, thank you so much for joining us today. And during Women's History Month, we're really excited to be able to continue the tradition of recognizing our leading women making a difference in our region, even though it's virtual this year. So we're thrilled to have WLC members and guests from around the United Way of Southwestern PA's 5-county footprint joining us today. And I have the distinct honor of announcing this year's 2021 History Making Women of Butler County. So let's jump right into it. Our first honoree tonight is Dr. Kathy Silvaji. After 12 years as Oncology Medical Director of the Richard G. Laub Cancer Center in Katanning, PA, Dr. Silvaji pursued her interest in palliative care. She applied for and was accepted into the Palliative Care Fellowship at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, Massachusetts from 2005 to 2006. After completion of her fellowship, she returned to Pittsburgh to develop the Division of Palliative Care for the West Penn Allegheny Health System from 2006 to 2010 and became chief of the division in 2008. Dr. Silvaji was recruited back to Boston in August of 2010 to direct the Intensive Palliative Care Unit at Brigham and Women's Hospital, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, or DFCI. This unit cared for cancer patients throughout the trajectory of their illness. Her responsibilities included the day-to-day operations of the unit, including admitting and discharge procedures, clinical care, quality improvement, and patient safety. In 2011, Dr. Silvaji became a fellow of the American Association of Hospice and Palliative Medicine. In 2013, Dr. Silvaji, an assistant professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School, was promoted to clinical director for the Division of Adult Palliative Care at DFCI. She oversaw the daily workings of the unit, 3 palliative care consult clinics, and an ambulatory outpatient palliative care clinic. Dr. Silvaji, who is a board certified in internal medicine and in palliative care, was a director of the palliative care program for the Butler Health System in Butler, PA from 2015 to 2021. She, along with her palliative care team, developed a high-quality palliative care program for patients in rural community settings. Congratulations to Dr. Silvaji, as she was recently promoted to Chief Community Health Officer for the Butler Health System to develop health implementation strategies while addressing the social determinants of health. She's also a clinical assistant professor in palliative medicine at Penn State Health. Let's all please welcome Dr. Silvaji.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? Okay. Wow. First of all, I want to say I am so immensely grateful for this honor. I think that, you know, women leaders, it's just an honor to be recognized for all the work that all of us are doing. You know, when I look at my career and I think, who influenced me? I would say that probably the biggest influence in my career or in my life was my mother, who, for those of you who know me, died much too young. But what she said is, Kathy, you need to go out there and follow your dream. You need to forge ahead and just do it. And you will find a way to do it. Your path may not be a straight line. It may be a circuitous one, but be sure to follow your dreams. And I think that has served me well. I've had a lot of very strong women leaders in my career. I think my mother was the strongest. I also want to share that I think I've totally loved the field of medicine. It has afforded me the ability to care for people in so many different settings, both in rural America and in large cities. I have been able to meet and take care of patients and meet people from all over the world. But I also want to say that I think that another very important part of my life is my family. You know, I think being a mom, and I say this to my 2 children and my son, who is now a father himself, is I think being a mom or being a parent is the toughest job in the world. Our children don't come with instruction booklets, and we try and do our best. So the third part of my career that I've loved is mentoring. And I think by being a strong woman leader, we show the women and also the men, we can't forget that population, that we know a lot, that we can communicate well. And I think Anne said it well, that we're very good at multitasking and getting jobs done. And I think, we lead by example. And I've had the pleasure of teaching medical students and physician's assistants and other physicians and fellows, and that has been an incredible joy. In my current position as Chief Community Health Officer for Butler Health System, which, by the way, is a new job. I'm making it up as I go along, but I work with incredible people at the health system. I have the opportunity of working with, and I'm going to mention some of these people who are on the call, so please don't get embarrassed. There's Stewart, who is an amazing nurse that I collaborate with, because our goal really is to look at the social determinants of health in our community and see how we can improve the food deserts and the mental health and all of the issues that our patients and community face. I also think another incredible leader that I work with at Butler Health System is Karen Allen, who is, I call her the chief of everything. She's the chief nursing officer, but Karen has so many incredible skills. So I'm working with an incredible group of people at the health system. We are very fortunate to have these people in our this hospital system in our backyard. I could go on and on, but I know I can only speak for 2 to 5 minutes, and I'm probably over time limit, but just want to tell you, thank you so much for this award. I look forward to working with all of you. This is just, I am just incredibly honored and can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Silvaji. We are honored to have you here tonight. Our next honoree is Lisa Campbell. Lisa has been an employee of Butler County Community College for over 15 years. During this time, she has served the college in a variety of important leadership roles. Most recently, and for the last 3 years, she served as the Dean of Workforce Development. In this capacity, Lisa leads a team of professionals who work to develop and deliver training programs for our area businesses and individuals who are under or unemployed. The team provides professional development courses, industrial safety training, fire and hazmat training, EMS and police training, as well as a variety of community initiatives. She has a deep understanding of the importance of building trusting relationships and strives to ensure she is helpful through her skills of communication, strategic planning, and problem solving to those she works in the community with, to her colleagues at the college, and throughout the region. Community service is important in Lisa's life. Although her role at the college opens many doors for community work, her drive to be personally connected to the county, in which she has called home for most of her life, is her motivation to be involved and contribute her skills to make our community a better place. Lisa currently is involved with Butler AM Rotary and was a past president and board member. In addition, she currently serves as board member for the YWCA of Butler, the Butler VNA, the Butler Downtown Association, and the Butler County Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. She is also an active member of the Empowerment Initiative Advisory Committee, and regionally, she serves on the West Central Workforce Development Board for Lawrence and Mercer counties. Lisa uses her skills to assist these groups to not only achieve their goals, but work together in spirit to enjoy what they do. Lisa has a host of professional, civic, and academic accomplishments. She earned her master's degree in business administration from Slippery Rock University, a bachelor's degree in human resources from Geneva College, and 2 associate degrees from Butler County Community College, one in business management and the other in secondary education. Lisa is a proud mother of 2 adult sons, Jake and CJ, or Christopher, and Lisa and her family are residents of Butler County. Let's all please welcome Lisa.
Thank you, Shannon, for the introduction and for reading my bio. And yeah, it's hard for me to hear you read it, you know, when you hear things about yourself and everything that you're involved in. But at least I don't have to talk so much about it because you've all heard it from my bio. But I want to thank the Women's Leadership Council for this honor and for recognizing me. I am greatly humbled and grateful to be selected from a group of many women out in our community that are doing good things. And to be on this platform with Dr. Silvaji and Jean Bowen tonight is just, it's amazing. So thank you. I do want to say I am very pioneer proud to be the Dean of Workforce Development for BC3. In my department, in my division, I should say, we are a small and mighty group. We consist of 15 people that all share the same passion to go into the community and to deliver training and to just do what we do to help individuals. Again, whether it's earning skills or a certificate, but each department is just so focused on being engaged and involved. And for me, that just makes going to work every day wonderful. I can't say that enough. As a leader for this group, when you have a team of folks that are all on the same page, wanting to do the same thing, it makes life a little easier. It makes it easy in that you don't have to go to work and have a challenge of motivating employees, because my staff is motivated, and that I'm forever grateful to them. In workforce development, when the pandemic hit, I have to share, we had challenges like everybody else, and I won't go there, but we provide face-to-face and skills-based training. And that's 85% to almost 90% of what we do. So when COVID hit and you shut down, we still had businesses that needed training and first responders that needed training. And I commend my team a lot for identifying those specific classes and flipping them like our academic peers had to do. How do you go remote? How do you provide everything online, as well as every other educational institution? So our team faced the same challenges, but how do you take fire training and put it online? But I will say that every department was able to identify those classes and get them out there so we can continue to serve our communities. And I'm very proud of all of them for this accomplishment. And much like Ann had said, things aren't going to change. These will be programs and offerings that we continue to go and to offer going forward, because what we're learning too is our audiences may not want to all come face to face anymore. And so we are positioned to serve our community a little bit better, and that will continue to grow. And we'll look for different ways to continue to offer that and to support our community. In addition to working with the team and what I get to do for BC3, I also have the privilege to represent the college in many community groups. And as you had heard on my bio, part of what I do is to be involved in the community. And what I want to focus on and just share a little bit right now, I get to serve on boards and help create and develop programs that are more community oriented. And so there are a couple that I want to speak about tonight specifically, because I think it just shows the collaboration that we get to be part of. One of them is working with the Tri-County Workforce Investment Board. The college has had a history of good working relationships with the TC-WIB, but specifically right before the pandemic hit, we were presented with a grant opportunity to train a youth re-entry training program. Okay, it's a training program. Here's our target audience. But the best part about this, that it wasn't just BC3 sitting with TC-WIB and how do we work towards this grant. This was a table full of individuals from the county, from different agencies. And we had one person saying, okay, I can do this, and another person saying, I can do that. And within 30 minutes, everybody came together sharing what they do really well to create a really good program for these youth, 18 to 24 years old, that may have been part of the judicial system in some capacity. And so the grant evolved and was submitted, and we were awarded the grant. And so present day, now that COVID is lifting, we can offer this training in our community to this population. And it's examples like that that I'm grateful to have the opportunity to participate in and advocate for the college and in our workforce department. One of the other initiatives that started pre-pandemic, but is in its pilot stages now, is the community's, I'll say the county's empowerment initiative. And you had heard that I serve on the advisory council for that. So the empowerment initiative is another program opportunity that came from a need, that you have individuals that have barriers to employment, whatever those barriers might be. We had employers over here that needed a workforce and needed people. And so again, a group of community leaders came together, they identified the problem. Okay, now how are we going to solve it and fix it? And that's the leadership and the participation and the involvement that I get to be part of that really is fulfilling for me. So the Empowerment Initiative, really, it starts with empowerment training, and it's that skills training that we want to share with an individual that may be lacking confidence in themselves and maybe just feel stuck and not know how to get to where they're at. I mean, let's face it, ladies, when we all feel confident, our shoulders go back and we know we can conquer anything, that's what this empowerment piece, that piece makes it special in this initiative, this training initiative, because you take that and you couple it with skills training and you provide a pathway to employment to our businesses for these individuals that, again, feel stuck or just have maybe given up on becoming employed. That's the kind of stuff that I get to be part of in my role at the college. And I'm again, forever grateful for, and I am grateful to work with our community that is so eager to help. And there are many more programs like that I can talk about, but I won't talk about tonight. But just know that I am very proud to be part of the leadership team in our community, not only the college, but in our community. And through my work, I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of people and to make a lot of friends and to get involved, whether it's volunteering or serving on the boards. But I have to also admit that's a choice of mine. That there's no one saying you have to do this. I really, as mentioned in my bio, I'm very proud of where I came from in my hometown. And I want to take advantage of every opportunity to give back a little bit. And I want to share being involved with the Butler AM Rotary really has been part of my development. The Butler AM Rotary is the first club that I jumped into. This group, and if anybody's involved in Rotary, you know that Rotarians, wherever you are in any community, are very active and they give back, but they live by a motto, service above self. And I got to say, for me personally, when I learned that, it really clicked. And so you take that motto and you add it to a mother who was a huge part of my upbringing and what a strong woman is, and continues today to show me what volunteering is really about. You blend that all together, and I think that's just evolved into who I am. So I'm very blessed to do what I do and love what I do, and it is who I am as well in the way I can give back. And, you know, this Rotary Club, whether we're picking up garbage or creating playgrounds for people, our current project right now that I'm very happy to share is that we're working on a memorial in Alameda Park for first responders. Whether the projects are simple or whether they're larger like that, I think it's the spirit of giving back that I enjoy more. And that goes without saying with all the other boards too. So I want to give one shout out, and I just want to take one more minute. I'm also part of the YWCA. And ladies, I have a call to action for everyone tonight. If you are not familiar with the YWCA, I encourage you to look them up, to learn more about them. And if you have a little bit of time, just get involved. I was not familiar with them when I first joined the board, but as I learned to understand the idea behind the YW, the empowering of women that they totally support and advocate and live by. I think it's so important today that we jump on board and we help organizations like this. So that's my call to action. And I'll just wrap this up by saying thank you again for this opportunity. And thank you to all you ladies out there. I know that you give and you contribute into your communities as well. So just stay strong and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I think I saw in the chat that someone called you a rock star, which I could completely agree with. I had the pleasure of reading all these bios beforehand, and I thought, whew, it's definitely an honor to be introducing all of you. So lastly, but certainly not least, among our leading women of Butler County is Jean Bowen. For 11 years, Jean Bowen has been serving the Butler County community as a volunteer income tax assistance, or VITA coordinator. In her first year, Jean managed one office, 15 volunteers, and facilitated 368 completed tax returns. Since, Jean has expanded the VITA program to include 7 offices, over 60 trained certified volunteers and students, resulting in the completion of approximately 2,300 tax returns. The results have brought millions of dollars back to Butler County while helping thousands with incomes below $50,000 a year. The IRS recognized Jean and Butler County VITA program nationwide in their yearly spotlight for growth and accuracy of completed tax returns. Jean also won an Oscar as the best supporting partner from the local IRS spec office. And in 2018, she won Most Impactful Program of the Year award from Slippery Rock University's Nonprofit Academy Awards. In addition to VITA, Jean provides financial literacy to Butler County residents. She works one-on-one with individuals, creating budgets, making phone calls to reduce debt, navigating the system, and educating individuals to achieve financial success comprises Jean's daily work life. For the past 10 years, Jean serves as president for Butler County Twilight Wish. Jean was instrumental in bringing this program to Butler County. Twilight Wish grants bucket wishes and essential need wishes to eligible senior citizens. So hearing aids, washing machines, safety equipment installation, and even hot air balloon rides are just a few examples of the wishes granted under Jean's guidance. Each year, Jean also coordinates the volunteers and financial resources for Bundle Up Butler, which is a program that offers free winter coats to children in the community. Most important to Jean is her family. Jean has been married for 38 years, has run a successful personal business for 37 years, raised 3 beautiful daughters, has 2 amazing grandsons, and will welcome a new grandbaby this year. Let's all please welcome Jean.
Hi, thank you for including me in today's event. I am very honored to be accepting this award, especially following legendary women such as Jean Purvis and the Honorable Judge Marilyn Horan. I've known Marilyn most of my life, and she definitely is an inspiration to the Butler area. And she has impacted families all over Butler County while she was a judge here in Butler. She has been promoted to a federal judge now and works out of Pittsburgh, but she has a lot of impact on the Butler area. My greatest asset has to be my volunteers. Every one of my programs runs with volunteers. The VITA program, the voluntary income tax assistance, is all volunteer. This year with COVID, we only had 43 volunteers, but half of them are students from both BC3 and Slippery Rock University. And those students get a valuable experience. I love watching them come in the first day and being shy and not being able to talk to the public and even my coworkers and each other, to going, coming out of their shell and being able to talk to anybody, explain a tax return, finding out what they really like in the accounting division, because most of them are majoring in accounting or finance. So they find out, do I like this piece of accounting, and do I want to go into auditing, or do I want to go into taxes? Classroom work is good, but being out there in the public, there's nothing like teaching them that and how to move forward from college to actually working in an office. So watching those kids succeed is my greatest pleasure. They've all gotten great jobs. I serve as a resource for them in their search for jobs and a reference for them. And that has been a great asset to watch them grow and move on in their lives. Also with Bundle Up Butler, it runs all on volunteers. And with COVID, we really had to switch our program up last year. We had generally done like a shopping experience. Well, one-on-one, we could not do that. So we did it more as a drive-through. We got everybody pre-registered. They pulled up, we put their coats in their car. We also had food distribution along with it, and many community partners who came out, set up tables. It was like being at Heinz Field and having a tailgating party, because many of the community members came out and set up tables and gave valuable information out that would help during COVID, where they could get food, where they could get resources. So it was really a community event, and everybody joined in on how to make it better during COVID. So the Housing Authority and all the other agencies that made that possible was amazing. And that's the one thing I think Butler community and Butler women have to offer is when we need to, we come together like no other. And it's really been inspiring to work with all these other agencies and all these other women. It inspires me daily. And to say my volunteers are my best asset, that is so true. And I'm going to end with a story that happened just yesterday. One of my volunteers did a tax return Tuesday night, and they were slightly over our limit of doing. We have limits from the IRS on what we can and can't do, but they do give me some leeway of saying yes or no. And initially I said no, and the volunteer came to me and told me this family story where the lady had to take money out of her retirement, and so it put her over our limit, but she took it out for health reasons. She had a brain tumor and couldn't afford the health expenses, so she took money out of her retirement to pay those health expenses. And I just couldn't say no at that point. So I called her the next day and said, we're going to do your return. I don't want to cause you any more undue stress. But when I called her, she was sitting at UPMC waiting to go in for an MRI to see if the brain tumor had returned. She, of course, burst into tears, but had my volunteer not come to her aid and told me what was going on, that wouldn't have happened. So I do believe my volunteers are my best asset, and I am fortunate to work with them on different projects and watch them grow right along with me growing with them. And there's people get out and volunteer because, you know, Twilight Wish too never ceases to amaze me. We get these requests for wishes for people that my insurance won't pay for my hearing aids. And it amazes me that Medicare doesn't think hearing aids are a necessity of life. Because if you can't hear, your quality of life is definitely affected. And that's one of my things that maybe when I retire, I'll take on Medicare and see why we can't get some of these things paid for, because definitely hearing's a quality of life. But we have, over the 10 years I've done Twilight Wish, we have probably provided at least a dozen pairs of hearing aids, and we always get back. Now I can hear my grandkids talk to me, or now I can play bingo. One of the pair of hearing aids, the first thing I asked to the lady was, how's this impacting your life? And she goes, you know, I've been going to bingo for 5 years and have never won. She couldn't hear the caller. She couldn't win because she couldn't hear the caller. So, you know, you never know how you're impacting a life, be it something simple like bingo or, you know, but that was her daily life. She lived in a nursing facility that had bingo. And so you really can impact somebody's life with something very simple. and we can all do that. So I get the privilege of impacting lives daily. So join us in impacting lives and, being inspired by other women. Thank you. I truly appreciate this honor.
Thank you, Jean, and thanks for sharing those stories. They were really heartwarming. Let's give a big virtual round of applause, maybe some jazz hands or something, for our impressive group of women. The WLC was really created because of the remarkable women from which we've heard from tonight. It's, as I think stated before, the WLC is a powerful network of these leading women who support and invest in our local community. We volunteer, we network, we grow professionally together. Really, the possibilities are endless. And with that, I'd also like to share why I decided to get involved with the United Way and WLC. I have been volunteering with the United Way for over 15 years now. And really why I decided to get involved is I keep this small plaque on my desk and it reads, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And to me, that quote is so impactful because I didn't grow up wealthy. In fact, many times my family relied on the services that the United Way supports to obtain basic needs. So from food banks to utility services, those resources were available to me because people like you cared and you got involved. And I'm so fortunate today to be on the other side of that. I'm in a position now where I can give back to the communities and institutions that helped me and my family so many years ago. And the United Way and the WLC really provides a platform for that. So whether you know it or not, I know that you're all making an impact in someone's life and you have the ability to change their course. I've had the privilege to personally know some of the women on this call tonight, and these women represent leadership, passion, kindness. They've broken barriers and showed that the path ahead can be different than the past. And the WLC really brings those like-minded women together to join forces. I kind of like to compare it to those superhero movies where they have all the individual ones, but then they bring them all together in the end to have like one big blowout movie. That's kind of what the WLC does, is it brings leading women together to better our community. So I invite you all today to think about your why you volunteer, why you're on the call. And just by being here today, it tells me that you have a really important one. So I'd now like to share some upcoming WLC events and volunteer opportunities that we have on the horizon. On Monday, April 12th, we have a Questions Before Us virtual event where we're going to be discussing some of the biggest and most pressing issues facing our region today, and then how everyone is responding to those. So evites for that will be coming out soon. The Wlc Spotlight series will be coming out in May or June of this year. And that's really a leadership development program planned for WLC members, featuring Tacy Byam, who is the CEO of DDI, or Development Dimensions International. And we're also going to be partnering with the Center of Women Entrepreneurship at Chatham University. So it'll provide everyone with the opportunity to network with other women and businesses across our county. Then we'll also be having a big book drop volunteer event coming in the spring to support literacy for young children throughout the region. And again, in the spring, we're going to do a big cleanup event where we'll be having volunteers to help with senior citizens with their outdoor yard work. And then our annual Tools for Schools kit packing event that many of you participated in last year is scheduled again for August later on this year. The STEMtacular events for kids are ongoing, so thank you for all who volunteered for those, as well as a lot of different Day of Caring events and collection drives that happen throughout the year. So just a reminder to kind of keep updated with everything kind of going on right now. You can join us and follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And WLC actually has a special Facebook and LinkedIn group too. So when it's safe to do so, we really look forward to getting back in person to do more volunteering and networking and that personal and professional development activities as well. So if you've liked what you've heard today and would like to learn more about how to get involved or how to donate, you can always reach out to me personally, any other member of the WLC, or a United Way staff member. So I'll just ask that today you be the change you wish to see in the world. And if you would like to join us in this mission, we would be honored to have you. So with that, I will turn it over to Amy to talk about the matching grant program. Thank you.
Shannon, thank you. This is a first for me in all the Zooms that I didn't count over the past year. I think this is the first time that I was actually moved to tears in the content that was presented in a Zoom event. So thank you all. I am humbled by being in your presence and so grateful that you choose to do what you do in our communities and with the United Way. As Shannon said so well, this is an amazing group of women. And it is also a philanthropic group of women. And we'd like you to consider becoming WLC members if you aren't already. Now, I know that depending on where you are in your career, that can be a bit of a daunting task or something that is maybe not a decision you make, but one that you choose to make with your family. But we have a great access to a matching pool this year. So if you are interested in joining at the WLC level in supporting United Way, and you would like to access the match, we can help you by using matching dollars to get you to the entry level for WLC and in the Step Up program. So if you're thinking about joining that Step Up program and working up to the WLC level, think about using the match. I'm happy to walk through that with you. Sherry can do that as well. But we'll get you on the path to WLC, reaching the full level, and we'll help you get there the first year, and then you can see your way as time progresses to get to that. You have access to this wonderful group of women and all the events that we do, and we have an inside scoop, if you will. You'll get to hear the news first by being WLC members. Sherry mentioned in the beginning that we have counterparts in the other offices. We have Terry Dominic, who is in the Greensburg office. Alyssa Cholodowski is my counterpart in the Westmoreland office in Greensburg. We also have Leanne Munger and Lynn Popish on the call. They are our guru team from the Allegheny County office in Pittsburgh. So any of us are here to help you with that, whether it's engage financially, engage volunteer-wise, or to learn more about how you could get help for a loved one or someone close to you that may need the services that are provided by United Way and United Way agencies. Jean, Lisa, Kathy, wow. Jean, I can't get through one tax return a year. I can't imagine how you've touched that many in your career. Lisa, people really need help when they are down and they don't think that they can change their path. And by doing that in your work in BC3, and then in the Rotary too, putting yourself in the service above yourself, that is remarkable. And Kathy, community health, wow, the social determinants of health and how one thing links to another and what you're doing with the food program at Butler Health System. And it's just amazing how we can all connect. And it isn't just one of us doing something, it's all of us doing a little bit and coming together with this fabric and this tapestry. We're going to give you a chance to talk amongst yourselves and get a chance to network without the wine, of course, unless you have some with you. And please do enjoy it if you do. And I'll just do a check-in with Sherry to make sure she's ready for us to go into our breakout groups.
Hi, thanks Amy, and thanks everyone. I want to give an extra thank you. If you logged on, you saw today's event sponsor, C.W. Howard. So I wanted to thank them again in case you didn't see their logo at the beginning. Thanks to C.W. Howard of Butler and Seven Fields. I think we will be ready to go. When you get into your rooms, we ask that you share, especially those who are members, share why you join and why you're still a member and what you love. And if you are not a member, if you're a guest, please ask questions. Now's your time. I know the networking portion was always one of our favorites at this event. If you have to leave us now, we understand, and that's a-okay. So feel free to jump off now if you don't want to stick around for the networking group. We will have 2 15-minute sessions. We've done them in other events and they go very quickly. So make sure everyone gets a chance to talk. And we will see you very soon. You'll be automatically sent to a room and you will be automatically brought back to the room, just like magic. We thank you again for being here today. And I noticed we had a couple other of our 2019 WLC History Making Women honorees. They're WLC members and our county commissioners, Leslie Oshie and Kim Geyer. So thank you both for being here and all you do to continue to lift up and celebrate other women. So if we are ready, we will be moving there soon. So have fun.